Hello, everyone. I'm Sheldon Barlett Rumor, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. It is always a pleasure, especially when we're talking about something I am not so familiar with. So I'm excited to dive into this segment. I'd love for my dear friend to reintroduce himself, his first and last name, and all he's up to.
Sheldon, I'm Louis Bezich, men's health advocate, contributing writer to PhillyVoice.com, and of course, the author of Crack the Code, 10 proven secrets that motivate healthy behavior and inspire fulfillment in men over 50. How are you?
I am good. I am good. And I'm still on this journey to ensure that those around me live their best lives for as long as possible. So, what do you have for me today?
Today, I have a concept that I want to bring forward, and I call it, life as a laboratory for healthy behavior.
Oh, I
So
love
what
it.
does that mean? What's the backstory there? Well, newsflash, behavior change is hard if you haven't experienced that in your own life, right? Particularly when it comes to healthy behavior. We make the unhealthy easy, convenient. We have junk food at our fingertips. We have fast food to make it easy to get food. And of course, that's not healthy for us. And it's also a focus on the short term, immediate gratification, right? Whereas healthy behavior has a focus on the long term, right? And it requires some discipline and commitment. And so too often, the short term wins out over the long term.
Oh my God.
So, and an indication of how important this is, because our behaviors have such a huge impact on our health, it goes back to 2009 when the federal government, through the National Institutes of Health, created a platform that they call the Science of Behavior Change. It's a program where they pull together, which still operates very active today, scientists and experts from around the country, academicians, medical folks, to look at behavior change and look for the underlying mechanisms, the factors, the strategies that can be employed to change behavior. Because, as I said, it's so important and frankly getting increasingly important today as we see the increase of disease so impacted by our behavior.
Right. I mean, I think that, that seems to be the biggest hurdle, right? It isn't convenient. I'm going to have to change my lifestyle. I'm grabbing and going, right? We have this sense of hustle culture that is part of the United States, in addition to a little bit of fatigue from the day to day. What is easiest? What is the most convenient? How can I get it? Especially if you're a provider, right? Okay, I have a busy schedule. I have 2 kids. I'm running to dance. I'm running to soccer. It's easier to drive through in the drive through than it is to stop, meal prep, all of those things, and to have a place where we can identify what these behaviors are doing to and for us, and then even ideally, hopefully, gain some steps or at least some insight as to how to comfortably change our behavior. I think this is so fascinating. So
Yeah,
fascinating.
it's really interesting stuff. And so one of the core issues that they've looked at over the years is what they call delayed discounting, or a bias for the present. And it's kind of what I referred to earlier, which is that how do we overcome this propensity to just do what feels good right now, and really focus on the long term. And that's where we get into a lot of the stuff that you and I have talked about over the years, which is finding your motivation. Does it come from your family relationship? Does it come from your children or grandchildren? And looking ahead, the key is really to look at underlying mechanisms, as they call it, that focus on the future, that bring some rationale and some motivation to be disciplined enough to focus on that, and then really adopt those behaviors so that then ultimately they become the preferred behaviors. And it's less difficult to overcome that temptation that's out there. So that's really the focus of it.
Oh my God, I think that's so interesting. And I know that there's been thought maybe it's 30 days, or if you do something consistently, I think it's 30 days, for 30 days in a row, then it can be easily become a habit. It can be easily
Exactly.
become part of your life. Sometimes people just don't know where to start, or they assume they're doing the right thing, right? I'm doing my best. These are the things that online told me to eat, or these are the things, the
Right.
exercise that somebody told me that I need to be doing. But I think that if we can find ways to incorporate this behavior into our busy lives, I think that that's the uniqueness of what we've been talking about for so long,
Absolutely. And
right?
what I like to say is that you don't have to be a scientist
Right,
to practice the science of behavior change.
right,
So the life lesson here and the takeaway for all your viewers
yeah,
is, experiment,
right,
try different strategies and techniques to lead a healthy lifestyle,
yeah,
whether it's the logistics of your day-to-day schedule, whether it's, employing your relationships to give you motivation, whatever
right,
it takes, be like a scientist, find out what works. If something doesn't work, try something else.
right,
You're in the laboratory of your life,
right,
trying things to find the right fit. And also
right,
remember, just like in the lab, what works at 45 or 50 may not work at 55 or 60.
for
So
sure.
be prepared to change and evolve and continually find new strategies and techniques and habits to lead a healthy lifestyle. So I think there's a lot we can gain from the concept of this science of behavior change that really has application in our daily lives. And really, that's what we need to tell the scientists, like, again, what works in a practical setting.
For sure. And I like the idea of the trial and error, right? I like the
Yeah.
idea of participating in what works and allowing for yourself that flexibility. I think that so often, primarily with the New Year's resolutions or even again,
Mhm.
these diets, these habits, it's
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this and that's all I can do. And that's it either gonna work or it's not gonna work. And then people tend to give up. I tried this diet, it didn't
Right.
work for me, as opposed to looking at it as an experiment, as if
Right.
you were in the lab, right? Okay, that didn't work. What do I need to tweak? What do I need to be able to move around, as opposed to saying, forget it. I'm just going to continue to live a life of just solely convenience that obviously
Right.
isn't benefiting me.
Right. So remember, like, failure is part of that scientific
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
So you're going to fail once in a while. That's okay. That's expected. But get
Right.
back on the horse and try other tactics.
I love that. Okay, so we all got to get back on the horse. We got to get back in the
There you
lab, according to my dear friend. Again, another segment that is so worthy of paying attention to, some practical advice to help all of us live a better life. If people want to find you, follow, fan, and like you, where do they find more information?
Well, certainly on social media, they can get me at Louis Bezich. You can also go to my website, 50plusmen.com. And in terms of this particular segment, if anybody out there has some tactics that have worked, some ideas that have really worked or didn't work, share them with me. Write me an email at lbezich@50plusmen.com and let me know how your experiments are working.
I love that. I got to go get in the lab. I think that a few more experiments, a few more tweaks. Sheldon at
There you go.
46 is definitely not Sheldon at 40. So I definitely want to make sure if we can find some new techniques to get
There you
me
go.
to an even better place. Thank you so much for your time. Always so
Thank you.
good. Ah,
Love
from
it.
all of us here at This Is It TV, I'm Sheldon Barlett Rumor, and we will see you soon. Take care.